Hello everyone, ARG back with some more Franchise Hockey Manager 8, and today in the world of alternate future hockey we have the Ottawa Senators sliding into the standings. At one point in time we were first in the conference, we are now 8. We had 2 very average months and then 1 pretty bad month last month in February. We're gonna need to win a lot of games here in March if we want to be relevant when playoffs come. Now you might notice something at the top of the screen, and it is that I am maybe not as observant as I believed I was, because when I finished the last stream I believed that I was stopping on March 1st. But it's February 29th. Apparently that's a leap year in 2024 and I didn't catch that. So I didn't stop on March 1st like I said I was doing. So there you go. I have lied to you all. Alright, so I was looking at my injuries earlier and I noticed something a little sad. And it's got me wondering things. I might take over as the coach after DJ Smith's contract is over, because he keeps putting Brady Tkachuk as a grinder, right? And he plays on the top line. And I was looking like at the injuries here. So Brady Tkachuk and Angus Crookshank played the same amount of games so far this season. Brady Tkachuk has 22 points in 53 games. That's not great. He's a lot better than that in real life. Angus Crookshank has 27 points in 53 games, so the rookie Angus Crookshank is doing better than the captain, and I don't think that it should be the case. Now, don't get me wrong. If he was doing better at a point per game and that Brady Tkachuk was just a little bit under a point per game, I would be ecstatic, but that's not what's going on here. Brady Tkachuk is vastly underperforming, and I think that it has to do with the role that DJ Smith keep giving him. So there is a good chance that once DJ Smith's contract expire, that we're gonna see some Jesse Bonham's shenanigans behind the bench. So we'll see. But anyway, so we are 8 in the East, like I just mentioned. We are on the road to start the month of March. We're going to be playing 3 games in 4 nights on the West Coast, American West Coast. So that's probably going to be tough. Let's get underway. Now, shall we? Let's try to win some hockey games. I didn't make any trades. There was only one player I was interested in. I thought that Jesper Bratt would have been a great add, but not at the expense of, you know, taking all of my things in return. Alright, let's look at the players or at the news here. Nick Suzuki extends his goal streak to 5 games. He had a goal and 2 assists against Arizona. Ooh, Seth Jarvis in Carolina has a fractured jaw. He's going to be out for 6 weeks. Alexander Barkov extends his point streak to 13 games. He had 2 assists against the Kings. Top-selling jerseys for the Sens in February. Tim Stützle was first. Patrick Kane, Drake Batterson, Thomas Chabot, and Matt Murray. The development report, I like to look at that, so please give me a second. Jake Sanderson got better at only fighting. Stenman got better at stuff despite being injured. Matt Sogard, that's good. I need for him to get better because I am not renewing Matt Murray. So next year I'm going with Gustafsson and Sogard. Melvin Straw. Okay, Brandstrom getting better, Slavkovsky getting better as well. Oh, Nino Niederreiter getting worse, losing some stamina. Top-selling NHL jerseys in February. Austin Matthews is first. Tim Stützle is 18th in the league, so Tim Stützle is starting to get some recognition. That's good. And the players of the month for February were Joseph Woll and Alexander Barkov. Go ahead and sim one more day, and then we're going to be in LA to play against the Kings. right, take a look at the news here. Sean Couturier has achieved 600 points in his career with an assist against Buffalo. Sean Couturier is 31 years old. He's a 3.5-star player. Taylor Hall has achieved 300 goals in his career with a goal and an assist against Vancouver. Taylor Hall is 32 and he is a 3-star player. Kind of declining over there. Alright, and Eugene Melnick is happy with my work, even though we went 3-5-1 last month. It wasn't a good month. For me to feel comfortable with the month of March, I think I would need to win around 80% of my games. That's asking for a lot. So we don't have a lot of room. The Flyers are breathing down our necks, but we do have 2 games in hand, so we're gonna need to win those. Alright, so the Sens are in LA here, starting the month of March with a little road trip. The Kings are 30-27-3. We are 1-0 against the Kings this season. We beat them 5-1 at home earlier in the season. Alright, we are going to play this game. We're sending Matt Murray in net. The Kings are going to go with Mackenzie Blackwood. And of course, go Sens go! And the month starts with a 4-2 loss on the road against the Kings. Not the start that we wanted, that's for sure. Alright, so the Kings outshot us 34-31. Samuel Fadjemo was the first star of the game. He had 2 goals. Alex Formenton was the second star with a goal. And Adrian Kempe was the third star with a goal and an assist. Tim Stützle opened up the scoring in the first period. That was a power play goal from Eric Brandstrom and Mason Shaw. And then the Kings tied the game. It was tied at 1 after 1. Then in the third period, the Kings scored twice. They were leading 3-1. Then Formenton scored from Juraj Slafkovsky and Neil Pionk to bring us to within 1. But with 2 seconds left to go in the game, Quinton Byfield scored, made it 4-2, and of course that sealed the deal pretty much. So a 4-2 loss here. We don't have a lot of time to feel sorry for ourselves. We play the very next day in Anaheim. Oh, Martin Jones has been put on waivers by the Sabres. Artemi Panarin extends his assist streak to 8 games. He had an assist against the Habs. There was no stopping Samuel Girard. He had a hat-trick against the Columbus Blue Jackets. And Alexander Barkov extends his point streak to 14 games with an assist against the Kraken. Alright, about to play Anaheim. Anaheim is 27-30-5. We are 1-0 against the Ducks. It was a 2-1 win at home against them. Let's see if we can beat them as well on the road. Philip Gustafsson in net for the Sens. John Gibson in net for Anaheim. And of course, go Sens, go! Come on, we need a W here. Thank you. 4-1 win on the road against Anaheim. We needed that. So we outshot Anaheim 43-30. Eric Brandstrom was the first star of the game. He had an assist. Patrick Kane was the second star with a goal and an assist. And Nino Niederreiter was the third star with a goal. So we scored 2 goals in the first period. Nino Niederreiter scored from Tim Stützle, and then Drake Batterson scored unassisted. Then Anaheim scored, made it 2-1, and then we scored again. Patrick Kane on the power play, unassisted. 3-1 Ottawa after 1. Then in the second period, Mason Shaw scored on the power play from Patrick Kane and Eric Brandstrom. It was a 4-1 lead for the Sens at that point. Nobody scored in the third. A nice little 4-1 road victory. Nice road game, all things considered. We will take it for sure. Then we're going to have a day off. Alright, let's see who's on waiver. Jamie Alexiak is on waivers. Mark Jankowski is on waivers. Matt Luff, Will Riley, and Adek Rohauser. Pass. Alright, Artemi Panarin's assist streak ended at 8 games. He was held assistless against the Islanders, but he did score a goal, so his point streak is intact. Oh, Scheifele extended with Winnipeg. 5 years for 30. So oh wow, that's a pretty good deal for Scheifele. He only signed for 6.41 per season. Wow, I wish my players would take discounts like that. All right. Yeah, so Scheifele extended. All right, day off, and then we're gonna be in Seattle to play the Kraken. Alec Regula is on waivers. Good game for Sebastian Aho in Carolina. He had 3 goals and 2 assists against Boston. Pretty good game indeed. Cale Makar has a day-to-day injury that was suffered against Montreal. Anze Kopitar has reached 750 assists in his career with an assist against Pittsburgh. Anze Kopitar is 36 years old and a 3.5-star player still. Mike Matheson is out 4 months with an injury in Anaheim. He has a fractured larynx. Yeah, that ought to not feel too good. Alexander Barkov extends his point streak to 15 games with 2 assists against the Canucks. Alright, and we are in Seattle to play the Kraken. Kraken is 30, 29, and 5, so a winning record here for the Kraken. We are 1-0 against Seattle. It was a 3-0 win at home against them. I wouldn't mind shutting them out again, but I'm a little. I have guys that can barely play at the NHL on 2 lines here, so we're not gonna expect miracles. Matt Murray is in net for the Sens. Philip Grubauer is in net for Seattle. And of course, go Sens, go! Oh, nice 5-2 win on the road. So that's 2 wins in a row here. We kind of need that. We outshot Seattle 37-36. Thomas Chabot was the first star of the game. He had an assist. Juraj Slafkovsky was the second star with a goal and an assist. And Quinn Olson, that I acquired in a trade with Boston, I believe, was a third star with 2 assists. So pretty good game for Olson there. He has decent potential. I hope he's gonna grow into it. Alright, so Drake Batterson opened up the scoring in the first. That was a short-handed goal from Josh Norris and Thomas Chabot. Then Patrick Kane scored his 20th of the season on the power play from Tim Stützle and Mason Shaw. It was 2-0 Ottawa after 1. Then in the second period, Seattle scored, made it 2-1. Then Juraj Slafkovsky scored from Quinn Olson and Jacob Bernard Docker, made it 3-1 Ottawa. Then Seattle scored again, made it 3-2, and then Josh Norris scored from Drake Batterson and Nino Niederreiter. It was a 4-2 lead for the Sens after 2. And then in the third period, Shane Pinto scored from Quinn Olson and Juraj Slafkovsky. It was a 5-2 victory for the Sens. Nice little game. Right, Jordan Eberle has tallied 1,000 games in his career against us. He got an assist. Jordan Eberle is 33. He's a 3-star player. Good night for Kyle Palmieri with the Islanders. He had 3 goals and an assist against Arizona. Jordan Martinook is hurt in Carolina. He's gonna miss. Oh, they don't say. He got a fractured fibula, so you know that's not gonna be a week or 2 here. Yeah, 3 to 4 months. And Angus Crookshank is getting ready to come back here, which is great. Right, so we have a couple days off, and then we're going to be hosting the New Jersey Devils. Sean Monahan has produced 600 points in his career. Got an assist against the Avalanche. Sean Monahan is 29 and he is a 3.5-star player. Oh, Crookshank might be back here right in time for the game against Jersey. No, he's not quite yet. Johan Larsson and Devante Stevens have been put on waivers by their respective team. Alexander Barkov, points 3, ended at 15 games, was held scoreless against Columbus. Andre Palat has a good game with New Jersey. He had 3 goals and an assist against the Flyers. Anthony Beauvillier extends his goal streak to 5 games with the Islanders with a goal and 2 assists against the Jets. And Brady Tkachuk starting to feel better. Yeah, I need for him to start playing better. Alright, playing against New Jersey. The Devils are 29, 31, and 4. That's good for 11th in the East. We are 1-1 against the Devils. That's the first time we played them at home. Last time we played them on the road was a 5-2 loss. Alright, Akira Schmid is going to be in net for the Devils. We're going to go with Matt Murray. And of course, go Sens go. Ooh, nice 6-1 victory after the road trip first game back home. Ottawa outshot New Jersey 39-23. Josh Norris was the first star of the game. He had a goal and 2 assists. Patrick Kane was the second star with a goal and 2 assists. And Roby Yarventi was the third star with a goal and an assist. We had a sellout crowd for this game. 17,000 right on the dot. So the Devils scored the first goal of the game, and then Josh Norris tied the game with his 15th of the season from Nino Niederreiter and Patrick Kane. It was tied at 1 after 1. Then in the second period, we scored 4 unanswered goals. Tim Stützle from Josh Norris and Patrick Kane. Then Patrick Kane from Josh Norris and Thomas Chabot. Igor Sokolov scored from Lassie Thompson and Roby Yarventi. And then Lassie Thompson from Shane Pinto and Igor Sokolov. It was 5-1 Ottawa after 2. And then in the third period, Roby Yarventi scored his first goal of the season, maybe even of his career. I don't quite remember. He did play last season. I don't remember if he scored from Shane Pinto and Tim Stützle. 6-1, the final score. Nice home game. Nice game. Almost a flawless game. I like that. Patrick Kane tallied that that was Patrick Kane's 1,250th game in his career, and he had a goal and 2 assists to celebrate that, and he is 35 and still a 4-star player. Brady Tkachuk is back. Will be back sooner rather than later. Okay, I'm curious about Roby Yarventi. I want to see if it was his first NHL. No, he had scored last year. Yeah, he did. Alright. Alright, we have a day off, and then we're going to be hosting the New York Islanders. Oh, Morgan Rielly is hurt in Toronto. He's going to miss 3 weeks with a concussion. Artemi Panarin extends his point streak to 12 games with a goal against Arizona. Nathan MacKinnon has achieved 300 goals in his career. Got a goal and 2 assists against San Jose. Nathan MacKinnon is 28 years old, and he is a 5-star player. Brady Tkachuk almost returned. Angus Crookshank almost returned. So they might both be back for next game after the Islanders game. So the Islanders are pretty good. They are 41-21-2. That's good for 3rd in the East. We are 1-1 against the Islanders. Hopefully we can beat them. We're a little bit on a streak here. I don't want for the streak to end. Jakob Skarik is going to be in net for the Islanders. We're going to go with Philip Gustafsson. And of course, go Sens go. Oh, a tight one, but we won. A 6-5 victory over the Islanders on home ice. We were outshot. That doesn't happen very often, but we were outshot 36-31 in that game. Drake Batterson was the first star of the game. He had 2 goals. Anthony Beauvillier was the second star with 2 goals and an assist. And Shane Pinto was the third star with 3 assists. A sellout crowd here for the Sens yet again. Only 1 goal scored in the first period. It was the Islanders that scored it, so they were up 1-0 after 1. Then a lot of goals in the second period. Drake Batterson scored from Mason Shine, Parker Kelly. Then Tim Stützle from Patrick Kane and Josh Norris. It was 2-1 Ottawa at that point. Then the Islanders scored 3 straight goals. It was 4-2, but Parker Kelly scored his first of the season from Shane Pinto and Patrick Kane. Made it 4-3 Islanders after 2. Islanders made it 5-3 in the third, and then we opened up the machine to run away with the win. Started with Thomas Chabot scoring his 10th of the season from Shane Pinto and Roby Yarventi, then Drake Batterson scoring his 15th from Roby Yarventi and Shane Pinto, and finally Lassie Thompson from Tim Stutzel and Josh Norris scored the game-winning goal with 1 minute and 24 seconds left to go in the third period, and we were able to hold on to that. So Lassie Thompson with the game winner, and the Sens are victorious here at home against the Islanders. Oh, everybody came back from injury, so we're going to need to move players around. Anthony Beauvillier extends his goal streak to 6 games against us. He had 2 goals and an assist, as we saw, so that was a pretty good game for him. Sebastian Aho extends his goal streak to 5 games with 2 goals and an assist against the Devils. There was no stopping Jack Hughes, 3 goals and an assist against Carolina. Wade Allison will miss 4 months with what? With a broken bone in the elbow. So Wade Allison putting in Philadelphia out for 4 months. Brady Ketchuk is completely recovered, and so is Angus Crookshank. So we have to move people around a little, and we will do just that. The captain returns to active roster. Crookshank returns as well to active roster. And we're going to need to send down Dow. We got him a cup of coffee at the NHL level, played a couple games, and then Quinn Olson as well. Oh, his potential dropped a little bit. He was a 4-star potential at one point. I mean, 3-star can hold his own at the NHL level. I'm not, but I just hope it doesn't drop further. All right. Alright, we have a day off, and then we're going to be doing a quick 2 road game trip. And it's going to be 2 games in 2 nights too, so fun stuff. Alright, Artemi Panarin extends his point streak to 13 games. He had an assist against the Jets. Evander Kane is back from his 11-game suspension, back in the lineup for the Oilers. He's the Sergei Fedorov of this run, so those of you that have been following me for a while know that the first time that I did franchise hockey manager, I believe, Sergei Fedorov was getting suspended all the time, and the number of games just kept going up, and I think at what point he got suspended for 15 games or something. I was like, dear God, this is crazy. Alright, so the Hurricanes are 29-7. They are 10th in the East. We are 2-0 against the Hurricanes. We are perfect against them. We're getting a big boost in the lineup. The captain is back. Angus Crookshank, who has probably the coolest name for a hockey player ever, is back in the lineup as well. Let's go ahead and do this. Gustafsson is going to be in net for us. E2 Mäkiniemi is going to be in net for Carolina. And of course, go Sens go. And we lost 3-2 on the road. We were a little bit on a winning streak here. Oh, we were outshot again, 38-36. Sebastian Aho was the first star of the game. He had a goal and an assist. Tim Stutzel was the second star with an assist. And Jesper Fast was the third star with an assist as well. Carolina opened up the scoring in the first period. It was 1-0 Carolina. Then they made it 2-0 in the second period. And then Shane Pinto scored from Neil Pionk and Thomas Chabot. It was 2-1 Carolina after 2. In the third period, Carolina made it 3-1. Then with 1 minute and 27 left to go in the third period, Patrick Kane scored from Tim Stutzel and Josh Norris to bring us to within 1. But we didn't have an extra goal to offer. So we lost 3-2. Sebastian Aho extends his goal streak to 6 games against us. A goal and an assist for him. Strong night for Sidney Crosby, still in Pittsburgh. He had 4 assists against Toronto. David Pastrnak is injured and he is day-to-day. Lacerated shin. Alright, so we don't have a whole lot of time to feel sorry about that loss against Carolina. We are in Minnesota to play the Wild. We have not played the Wild so far this season. They are 29, 33, and 5, so struggling a little bit there in Minnesota. Let's take a look at... Okay, so they have one injury that's still on the lineup that's not going to play, and that's Jonas Brodin, which is probably one of their best defensemen. So in net they have Cam Talbot and Wallstead. On D, they have Devon Taves, Brodin, Valimaki, Spurgeon, Niku, Rafferty, Addison. Up front, they have Beckman, Bunting, Greenway, Kaprizov, Dewar, Hartman, Rossi, Connor Bedard. Whoa, Connor Bedard is almost a point per game in his rookie season at 18 years old in the NHL, so he's doing pretty good. Joel Eriksson Ek, Matt Zuccarello, Beck, Foligno, Fiala, and Duhaime. So yeah, they should be better than that. And man, Connor Bedard comes as advertised so far. Alright, in Minnesota here, Matt Murray is going to be in net for us, Cam Talbot in net for Minnesota, and of course, go Sens go! Oh, 3-2 overtime win, overtime or shootout win. Let's explore here. We were outshot again, 34-32. What is going on here with my team? Alright, Alex Formenton was the first star of the game. He had 2 assists. Kevin Fiala was the second star with 2 assists. And Patrick Kane was the third star with a goal. Eric Brandstrom opened up the scoring in the first from Nino Niederreiter and Alex Formenton. It was 1-0. Then the Wild scored, tied the game at 1. Then in the second period, Patrick Kane scored from Alex Formenton and Lassie Thompson. It was 2-1 Ottawa, but Minnesota tied the game back in the third period. That went to overtime, nobody scored, and then only one person scored in the shootout. It was Patrick Kane, and that is a victory for the Ottawa Senators. Alright, nice little road win, we'll take it. I don't care that Minnesota gets an extra point, it doesn't affect the standings for us. They play in the West. Artemi Panarin extends his point streak to 14 games. He had an assist against the Islanders. Alright, we have a day off, and then we're going to be hosting the St. Louis Blues. Oh yeah, looks like we have a little bit of a stretch of home games. There are 4 straight home games for us. Artemi Panarin's point streak ended at 14 games. He didn't get a point against the Bruins. Oh, it was a 7-0 shellacking too. Not a good game for the Rangers there. Right, St. Louis is in town. They are 34, 29, and 4, so not too bad, not excellent either. We are 1-0 against St. Louis. We beat them 3-2 in St. Louis earlier this season. Let's beat them again. That's going to make me happy if we do. Joel Olfer is going to be in net for St. Louis. Philip Gustafsson in net for the Sens. And of course, go Sens, go. A nice 5-2 victory for the Sens here. We're making some statements at home with some pretty decisive wins. I like that. We outshot St. Louis 32-22 in that one. Tim Stützle was the first star of the game. He had a goal and an assist. Thomas Chabot was the second star with 2 assists. And Drake Batterson was the third star with 2 assists as well. Sellout crowd again in Ottawa for that game. We opened up the scoring in the first. Patrick Kane scored on the power play from Thomas Chabot and Eric Brandstrom. It was 1-0, but then the Blues scored twice. So it was 2-1 St. Louis after 1. Then in the second period, Tim Stützle scored his 30th of the season from Eric Brandstrom and Drake Batterson to tie the game. Then Roby Järventie scored from Drake Batterson and Dougie Hamilton. It was 3-2 Ottawa after 2. And then in the third period, Mason Shaw scored his 20th of the season from Tim Stützle and Patrick Kane. And then Dougie Hamilton from Juraj Slafkovsky and Thomas Chabot. And it was a 5-2 victory for the Ottawa Senators. Pretty nice game, and Kachuk is not getting any points, so I will need to take over as the coach and turn him into a power forward, more than likely. Trevor Carrick has been put on waivers by the Jets. Batterson has a day-to-day injury. Alright, we're going to need to look at that. Jordan Eberle has scored 300 goals in his career. He had a goal and an assist against the Jets. We saw that earlier, but Eberle is 33 years old and he is a 3-star player. Trevor Carrick was signed by the Jets just so that they can put him on the waivers. This is getting redundant and annoying. Blackhawks and Delia agreed to part ways. This contract got terminated. So Colin Delia not a part of the Chicago Blackhawks organization anymore. I thought, oh yeah, I wanted to look at Batterson's injury. Yeah, he can't play. Bruce back day to day. That's okay, we have guys that can step in. It's only going to be for a few games, hopefully. Right, and now we're going to be hosting the Colorado Avalanche, who are having a very, very, very difficult season, despite still having pretty good players on the team, so I'm not sure what's going on over there. Alex the Brincat extends his point streak to 12 games. He had 2 assists against the Devils. Strong night for Denton Matichuk. 3 goals for him. He had a hat-trick against the Ducks. Alright, Colorado in town. They are 31-35 and 2. Oh, they climbed a little bit back up. They had a much worse record than that before. That's still not good, but their record was a lot worse than that not too long ago. Alright, so 31-35 and 2 for Colorado. We did win 4-2 in Colorado. I believe that was in the previous stream, so we're going to see if we can beat them on home ice. Darcy Kumper is going to be in net for Colorado. We're going to go with Matt Murray. Go Sens go. 2-1 overtime win. Alright, we'll take it. Overtime / shootout. We outshot Colorado 46-36. Darcy Kumper was the first star of the game with 44 saves. Mikko Rantanen was the second star with an assist, and Tim Stützle was the third star with a goal and an assist. Set out crowd yet again. Tim Stützle opened up the scoring in the first from Neil Pionk and Mason Shaw. It was 1-0 Ottawa after 1. Then the lead, that 1-goal lead would last until almost the midway point of the third. Cale Makar scored to tie the game. It was tied at 1 going into overtime, and Patrick Kane scored in overtime, his 25th of the season from Tim Stützle, and it was a 2-1 win for the Sens. Pretty good game. We'll take it. We'll take the points. We'll take the 2 points. Alexander Barkov has a good game. He had 3 goals and an assist against the Buffalo Sabres. Pretty good game indeed. Brad Marchand played in his 1000th game in his career, which would be surprising considering that approximately 7 million Abs fans have been clamoring for the longest time that somebody would end Brad Marchand's career because he is a dirty player, but it rarely happens that way. Alright, so no points from Marchand in that game. That was against the Wild. Brad Marchand is 35 and he is still a 3.5-star player. Alright, we have a day off and then we're going to be hosting the Detroit Red Wings. Strong night for Mika Zibanejad. He had 3 goals and an assist against the Blackhawks. Alex the Brincat extends his point streak to 13 games with an assist against the Rangers in that same game. Good night for Igor Sharankovich. He had 3 goals against the Nashville Predators. And a memorable game for Jack Hughes in that same game. He had 4 assists. Right, Detroit is in town. They are 30, 32, and 6. That's good for 11th in the East. We lost both games that we played against the Red Wings, a 4-2 loss and a 2-1 loss, so hopefully we can win that one. Alexander Georgiev is going to be in net for Detroit. We're going to go with Philip Gustafsson here. Oh, 3-2 win here against the Red Wings at home. We outshot Detroit 47-29. Patrick Kane was the first star of the game. He had a goal and an assist. Sean Corrali was the second star with an assist, and Dougie Hamilton was the third star with an assist as well. Sellout crowd here in Ottawa for this game. Red Wings opened up the scoring in the first. It was 1-0 Detroit after 1. Then in the second period, Robbie Yarventy scored to tie the game from Angus Cruikshank and Alex Formenton. Then Patrick Kane scored from Brady Tkachuk and Dougie Hamilton. It was 2-1 Ottawa after 2. Then in the third period, Tim Stützle scored from Eric Brandstrom and Patrick Kane. It was 3-1 for the Sens at that point. Then Detroit's score came to within 1. There was 5 minutes and 2 seconds left to go in the period, but they just couldn't tie the game. So we won by 1, 3-2. Patrick Kane extends his goal streak to 5 games with a goal and an assist, as we saw against the Red Wings. Florida's Ristolainen is suspended. He's going to miss 3 games. Alex DeBrincat extends his point streak to 14 games with 2 goals against the Islanders. Leighton Feist is out in Dallas. He has a torn ACL. Yeah, he's going to be gone for a while. They don't say here, but it's going to be a while. Yeah, indefinite. That's over 6 months. See you next year. Injury puts Zemgus Girgensons on sidelines with Arizona with out 7 months with a ruptured disc. Yeah, see you next season as well. And Jake Gunsel signed an extension with Pittsburgh, a 6-year deal. They don't say in the ear like how much he's being paid every season, but a 6-year extension for Gunzo with the Penguins. We have a day off, and then we're going to be hosting the New York Rangers. Actually, it's going to be a home and home against the Rangers. All right, Drake Batterson might be back soon. That'd be great. Alright, so Rangers in town, then we're going to have a day off, and then we're going to face them at Madison Square Garden the next day. So Rangers are 36-24-8. That's good for 8 in the East. We are 1-0 against them. We did beat them 5-2 at Madison Square Garden earlier this season. So let's see if we can beat them now. Then if we can't, or even if we can, then we can see if we can beat them for the next game as well. Home and homes used to be a lot more prominent and popular, like back in the day, like to try to stir up rivalries and everything. Now they still have them, but not as much. Alright, Igor Shesterkin is going to be in net for the Rangers, Matt Murray in net for the Sens, and of course, go Sens go. A 5-2 victory. We'll definitely be happy with that. We outshot the Rangers 39-36. Josh Norris was the first star of the game. He had a goal and 3 assists. Patrick Kane was the second star with 2 assists, and Brady Tkachuk was the third star with 2 goals. Another sellout crowd for Ottawa here today. Thomas Chabot opened up the scoring in the first. It was a power play goal from Mason Shaw and Eric Brandstrom. And then the Rangers tied the game. It was tied at 1 after 1. Then in the second period, Josh Norris scored from Nino Niederreiter and Jacob Bernard Docker. It was 2-1 Sens. Then the Rangers tied the game again. And then, and Ed Hunter, Jacob Trouba scored. We saw just how great of a human being he is in the playoffs this year. You know, always looking to, take somebody's head off with dirty hits. Dougie Hamilton scored after that from Josh Norris and Patrick Kane, made it 3-2. Brady Tkachuk scored his 10th from Patrick Kane and Josh Norris, and then Brady Tkachuk again from Josh Norris and Neil Pionk. It was 5-2 for the Sens after 2, and of course that was our final score. Nobody else scored, so 5-2 win for the Sens. Big game for Rasmus Dahlin. He had 4 assists against the Leafs. There was no stopping Alexander. He's having himself a season. He's in the news a lot this month. So Barkov got 3 goals and 2 assists against Tampa Bay. Alex DeBrincat extends his point streak to 15 games with a goal and an assist against Colorado. Nick Backstrom is out in Washington. He is injured for 3 months with a fractured fibula. A strong game for Shane Gustis-Bear playing in Arizona. He had a goal and 5 assists against Washington. That's pretty good. Clayton Keller also had a good game in that game. He had a hat trick, 3 goals. And Drake Batterson almost 100%. Right, day off, and then as I explained earlier, that's a home and home. So we're going to go ahead and play at Madison Square Garden against the Rangers that we just beat. They might be hungry, upset, hangry. Oh, Alexander Barkov is hurt day to day now after like being on fire so much. So I don't know if he's going to miss games. Timo Meier extends his goal streak to 5 games with 2 goals and 2 assists against the Kraken. And Drake Batterson is completely recovered, which is good news for us. Alright, Rangers are now 36, 25, and 8, and they are still 8 in the East, except that we are now 2-0 against the Rangers. We have a pair of 5-2 wins against them. Why not beat them 5-2 again and be consistent? Philip Gustafsson is going to be in net for the Sens. Igor Shesterkin in net for the Rangers. And of course, go Sens go. Oh, we lost 2-1. So the Rangers save face against us this season. They at least won 1 game. Oh god, yeah, we got out goal lead there. We outshot the Rangers 54-30, and we only scored 1 goal. Headhunter Trouba was the first star of the game with an assist. Roby Arventi was the second star of the game with an assist as well, and Igor Shesterkin was the third star with 53 saves. Right, nobody scored in the first, then Lassie Thompson scored in the second from Roby Arventi. It was 1-0 Ottawa at that point, and then in the third period the Rangers scored twice and they ran away with a 2-1 win. And now we are flying straight to Detroit from New York to Detroit. We're going to play the Red Wings the very next day. Martin Necas extends his point streak to 12 games with 2 goals and an assist against New Jersey. Zach Werenski is out for 3 weeks with an injury. Strained hamstring. Jordan Greenway is suspended. He's going to miss 7 games in Minnesota. Tyler Seguin reaches 500 assists in his career. He had an assist against the Kraken. And there was no stopping Philip Zadina, who is now in Vegas. He had a hat trick against the Ducks. Alright, so the Red Wings now are our next opponent. We are going to play them at Caesar's Palace. Wait, is it at our Little Caesar's Palace or something like that? Apparently it smells like pizza all the time. Apparently it smells delicious. Anyway, 30, 34, and 6 is the Red Wings record now, and they are 13th in the East. We won the last game against them. We are 1-2 overall for the season, so I'd like to at least tie the season series against them, especially since they're lower than us in the standings. Matt Murray is going to be in net for us. Sebastian Casa is going to be in net for the Red Wings. Go Sens go. And we won 6-4, so a 6-4 victory for the Sens on the road here on the second game of a back-to-back, so that's pretty good. We outshot Detroit 38-31. Tim Stützle was the first star of the game. He had a hat-trick, 3 goals. Albert Johansson was the second star with 2 assists, and Thomas Chabot was the third star with 4 assists. Alright, Detroit scored twice in the first period, then Igor Sokolov scored his 10th from Thomas Chabot and Nino Niederreiter. It was 2-1 Detroit at that point, and then Detroit added another goal before the end of the period. It was 3-1 Detroit after 1. Nobody scored in the second period. Then in the third period, Angus Cruikshank scored on the power play that was unassisted. And it reduced the lead for the Red Wings to 3-2. Igor Sokolov scored from Brady Tkachuk and Eric Brandstrom. Then Tim Stützle from Thomas Chabot and Dougie Hamilton. And then all of a sudden we had a 4-3 lead. When the Red Wings tied the game, it was 4-4. And then Tim Stützle scored from Dougie Hamilton and Thomas Chabot. And then Tim Stützle scored again, his 35th of the season, in an empty net from Drake Batterson and Thomas Chabot. And it was a 6-4 win for the Sens over the Red Wings. Tim Stützle has a strong game, as we say. He had a hat-trick. Thomas Chabot also had a good game, as we saw. He had 4 assists. And there was no stopping David Pasternak in Boston. He also had a hat-trick against the Lightning, who, by the way, clinched their ticket to the Stanley Cup Finals yesterday. They came back from a deficit of 0-2 against the Rangers in their series and won the last 4 games. And they're going to be facing the Colorado Avalanche in the Stanley Cup Finals. And I think that Tampa Bay is going to win. They did it twice in the last 2 years. They know what it takes. Colorado is ridiculously good, but I think that Tampa Bay's experience is going to make them win. That's my gut feeling anyway. All right, so we have a day off, and then we're going to be facing the Bruins in Boston. Alright, so William Nylander is out with a ruptured bicep tendon. That's 7 months. See you next season. That happened against the Habs too. Isaac Béliveau in Montreal is suspended. Maybe the result of that that injured William Nylander. He's out for 3 games. Suspension over for Ristolainen. Back in the lineup in Florida, Martin Necas extends his point streak to 13 games with an assist against the Buffalo Sabres. Memorable night for Mike Scheifele. He had a hat-trick against Washington. And no suspension for Luke Kunin in Nashville. He gets to stay in the lineup over there. All right, 3 games left here in March. We are going to be facing the Boston Bruins here at TD Garden. All right, Boston is 35, 35, and 1. That's good for 11th in the East. We are 1-0-1 against Boston. That's going to be our first trip in Boston for this season. First game on the road. The first 2 games were in Ottawa. So hopefully we can win this one. Matt Murray is going to be in net for the Sens. Jeremy Swayman is going to be in net for Boston. And of course, as usual, go Sens go. And it's a 3-2 win on the road, so pretty tight game, but we managed to win it. We outshot Boston 39-36 in that game. Tim Stützle was the first star of the game. He had 2 goals. Justin Falk was the second star with an assist, and Josh Norris was the third star with an assist as well. Boston scored twice in the first period, and they were up 2-0 after 1. Then in the second period, Tim Stützle scored from Dougie Hamilton and Josh Norris, and then Stützle scored again from Drake Batterson and Mason Shaw. It was tied at 2 after 2. And then in the third period, Patrick Kane scored a game winner, a power play goal from Thomas Chabot and Eric Brandstrom. There was still plenty of time for the Bruins to tie the game, like 13 minutes plus, but they didn't. We held on to the lead, and we won this game 3-2. You always need to be able to win on the road if you want to be successful. It's always harder to play on the road, but good teams find ways to win on the road. Suspension for Braden Shen. He is going to miss 2 games for St. Louis. We have a day off, and then we're going to be in Montreal to play against the motherfucking Habs. All right, no news in the world of hockey. We're going to be playing against the Canadians, who are 31, 39, and 2. 31, yeah, and that's good for 14th in the East. We are 1-1-1 against Montreal this season, which means that's going to be the last. That's going to be the last meeting against them, and I would like a winning record. So please, that's not going to be a winning record. I want to at least be tied against Montreal for the season series. Jeez. Philip Gustafsson is going to be in net for us. Caden Primo is going to be in net for Montreal. And of course, go Sens go. And we won 5-2. All right, nice road win for the Sens. A 5-2 victory here in Montreal. We outshot Montreal 43-25 in that game. Nino Niederreiter was the first star of the game. He had 2 goals and an assist. Shane Pinto was the second star with 2 assists, and Thomas Chabot was the third star with a goal and an assist. Oh, pretend Dr. Brendan Gallagher scored the first goal of the game. He is, in case you didn't know, he is an expert in injuries suffered to other players. Has a big mouth about it too. Alright, so he gave Montreal the lead 1-0 in the first, but then Thomas Chabot scored from Nino Niederreiter and Shane Pinto. It was tied at 1 after 1. Then in the second period, Nino Niederreiter scored from Patrick Kane and Shane Pinto, made it 2-1 Ottawa. Patrick Kane scored from Brady Tkachuk and Josh Norris. It was 3-1 Ottawa at that point. Montreal scored, made it 3-2, so we were up 3-2 after 2. And we added 2 more goals in the third period. Nino Niederreiter scored his 10th of the season. That was a short-handed goal from Dougie Hamilton and Thomas Chabot. And then Roby Yarventi sealed the deal with an empty net goal, assisted by Lassie Thompson. And a nice 5-2 victory over the Habs. Uh-oh. So Chabot is hurt. It's only a day-to-day injury, though. But that's still going to hurt. He's our best defenseman. So Chabot is probably going to sit a couple games. Martin Necas extends his point streak to 14 games. He had a goal against the Rangers. Logan Couture played in his 1000th game in his career. Didn't get a point. That was against Seattle. Logan Couture is 35 years old, and he is still a 3-star player. And Sidney Crosby has recorded 1,250 games played in his career, celebrated that with 2 assists against Dallas. Crosby is 36 and he is still a 5-star player. Alright, we have a day off and then we're going to be hosting the Winnipeg Jets, and that's going to be our final game in March here. Alright, Callahan Burke has been put on waivers by Colorado. Martin Necas point streak ended at 14 games, was held scoreless against the Columbus Blue Jackets. Oh, Tarasenko in St. Louis is hurt for 6 weeks. That's... Oh yeah, the Blues should be going to the playoffs with that record. Maybe at least they have a good shot, so that's probably going to hurt them to try to clinch, if anything. A fractured elbow, God. Some like the place in the little message where they say where the injury is never in the same place, so I don't always see it. Alright, and Braden Shen is back from suspension for the Blues. So they lose 1 player to injury, another one comes in from suspension. Alright, so the Jets are 39, 29, and 5. They are in town. We are 0-1 against the Jets this season. It was a 6-1 shellacking in Winnipeg, so we're going to try to enact revenge here and shellac them instead. Connor Hellebuck is going to be in net for Winnipeg. Matt Murray is going to be in net for us. And of course, go Sens go. Last game of the month. Oh, we lost 4-3 in overtime / shootout. Right, we outshot Winnipeg 43-32. Nikolai Ehlers was the first star of the game. He had a hat-trick, 3 goals. Mason Shaw was the second star with a goal and an assist, and Pierre-Luc Dubois was the third star with a goal and an assist as well. Sellout crowd for the Sens here, but we were on the wrong side of that score. Tim Stützle opened up the scoring in the first. That was a power play goal from Lassie Thompson and Eric Brandstrom. Then Winnipeg tied the game. It was tied at 1 after 1. Then in the second period, Mason Shaw scored unassisted. It was 2-1. Then Winnipeg tied the game, so it was tied at 2 after 2. Then in the third period, Tim Stützle scored from Mason Shaw and Drake Batterson. It was 3-2 Ottawa, but the Jets tied the game again. Tied at 3, heading into overtime, and it was an overtime loss. Nikolai Ehlers scored his 20th in overtime, played the hero for Winnipeg, and that's a 4-3 loss for the Ottawa Senators, who played that game without Thomas Chabot. I had a bunch of news. Nikolai Ehlers lights the lamp. As we saw, he had a hat-trick, 3 goals against us. Excuse me. That came out of nowhere. Jeff Skinner played in his 1000th game in his career. Didn't get a point. That was against Tampa Bay. Jeff Skinner is 31 years old and still a 3-star player. Brad Marchand has tallied 900 points in his career. He had an assist against Calgary. Brad Marchand is 35 and a 3.5-star player. PK Subban is suspended in New Jersey. He's going to miss 6 games. Matthias Ekholm is hurt in Nashville. He's going to miss 4 months with a broken thigh. Yeah, that probably doesn't feel too good. And the scouting report, don't care too much. And then we're going to go ahead and continue so that we are on April 1st. Yeah, I'm going to make sure that we're on the right date this time. Go figure. Ooh, there's 4 100-point players so far in the season and a couple that can really make it there because there's still 2 weeks worth of activities, so might happen. Alright, Noel Akshari has been put on waivers by Seattle. Nick Henry has been put on waivers by Colorado, and Kiviranta as well. The top-selling Ottawa Senators jerseys from March, Patrick Kane, Drake Batterson, Matt Murray, Thomas Chabot, and Tim Stützle. And in, the development report, of course, I like looking at that, as we know. Oh, Mirosh Nichenko is now a 5-star potential player. That'd be awesome if he were to reach that. Alright. Oh, I think Tommaso De Luca, I believe, is the guy. Yeah, that's the guy that FG wanted me to draft. He's a 3.5-star potential player. And he's having a pretty good season in the SL, 48 points in 48 games. We might have a little gem on our hands, but not too shabby for a 7th-round draft pick, that's for sure. Right, Bernard Docker gets better at checking. Cruikshank gets better at leadership. Formenton gets better at getting open. Yarventy gets better at stuff. Slavkovsky also. Tim Stützle as well. So yeah, that's a pretty good one. We had a lot of decent player that got decent increases. I like that. The top-selling NHL jerseys in the entire NHL. Max Pacioretty is first. Nobody from the Sens made it top 20 this month. Right, we know that actually he's been put on waivers, and the players of the month were David Pastrnak and Jeremy Swayman. So I guess the Bruins just had a really good month or something. Both from the same team. Alright, so we are officially on April 1st. Let's go ahead and save the game. So we've climbed back up. We did have a pretty good month of March. I said that I needed and wanted a good month in March, and we did just that. I think that we won pretty much around 80% of our games like I wanted to do. As a result, we've climbed back up to 4th in the East. So that is good. Doing good there for that. Yeah, we have a few injuries, at least in the minors there. Brady Burns is hurt. Anyway, so let's take a look at the standings because we're getting close to what the standings are going to be looking like at the end of the season here. Alright, so Flyers have a shot of getting in. I think it's going to start, for the Hurricanes down, I think it's going to be tough in the East for anybody to climb back up. But the Flyers have a shot to overtake the Rangers. And then it's just going to be a matter of seeding from there, who ends up facing against whom, because there's a lot of, very tight races there. So, nothing is set in stone. In the West, I think that the Kings and the Golden Knights have a shot to overtake the Dallas Stars. I think that everybody from Vancouver up pretty much is going to be in the playoffs. And I think that everybody from Colorado down is going to struggle to make it, probably. That's my guess. I mean, I don't know for sure. Alright, now let's take a look at our stats. Alright, so our best player is still Patrick Kane, 67 points in 70 games. So almost a point per game. Tim Stützle has 64 in 74. Shabbat 52 in 70. Shabbat took a while to get going, but then he got going and he's doing pretty good. 52 points for a defenseman is pretty great, and the season is not over. Then Norris has 48 points, Mason Shaw 47, Batterson 47, and then it just goes down from there. And, you know, Brady Tkachuk really struggling there. I need to take over. He cannot be a grinder on the first line. That's hurting the team. DJ Smith not doing the right things. That sounds like something that a lot of Sens fans would say. Alright, now let's take a look in the entire league. We already know there's already 4 100 points players. So Connor McDavid is leading the league with 57 goals so far. Matthews has 52. Best passer is McDavid with 82 assists. So obviously he's the point leader with 139. Matthews has 115. Panarin 110, and then Zibanejad 107. Of course, none of our players are anywhere close to any of those stats here. For the goalies, Gustafsson did pretty good this month, so he might have climbed. So both of our goaltenders are within the top 12 for the goal against average, but I don't really care about that stat, sadly. I care a little bit more about the save percentage and the goal save against average. And we have nobody in there. So I'm going to go ahead and save the game again, because I can, and I will. Alright, so we have, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, we have 8 games left to the regular season. I think that, I think we're pretty safe to say that we're going to be in the playoffs, but we just don't know against whom yet, and where we're going to see. Are we going to go back up, go back down a little, or stay put? All of those scenarios are possible. So the top 4 teams in the East have a little bit of a lead on the bottom 4 in the top 8. So I don't know just how much shuffling there's going to be, but we should be in the playoffs. Hopefully this time around we don't get taken out in 4 games, but we'll see. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and stop here for today. As usual, I do want to thank you for tuning in. Now, if you're catching this on YouTube later and that you like the video, please feel free to like, subscribe, share, comment, all of that good stuff. And until I roll this game again, I'll see you folks next time. Thank you.